is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
This is Mick Shots, streaming live on DallasCowboys.com and the official Dallas Cowboys app. Now, here are Bill Jones, Everson Walls, and Mickey Spagnola.
And we are off to a flying start on a Wednesday edition of Mick Shots. If you're watching on Periscope, you saw we got started a couple of minutes ago. You saw it. That's the key word. You saw it. You didn't hear us get started. We've got a false start to start this one, but we trust that you not only see us, but you also hear us now. Bill Jones and Mickey Spagnola inside the SWBC Mortgage Studios, and Everson Walls inside the SWBC Mortgage Home Studio. Hello, Everson.
Hello, William. Hello, Mickey. How are you doing, people?
I'm great. You guys? Good to be with you, Bill. I get to actually see you.
It's Wednesday, and I am in person here at Ford Center at the Star in Frisco inside the SWBC Mortgage Studios.
What's the occasion today?
On Wednesday, I tape a high school football preview show in the studios here right after we get done with Mick Shots, and so I have permission to enter the building on Wednesday afternoons. That's why I'm here in studio.
Very good.
So there you know the schedule for me for at least now.
And you could triple up because I think you have to read my script for the Legend Show, too.
Oh, that's right. I'd have to do that, too. We got a Legend Show coming up also.
I must say, guys, I really miss the Spagnola Jack Black readings. I'm looking for those to come back. They gotta come back, guys.
Right.
I don't like the reading now. Only Spags. That should be all Spags all the time.
We need to
Jack
talk
Black.
with Nikki about those to get those back in the air
That's right.
doing the reads because they've got some really good sales going on right now.
Yeah, and I need some more Jack Black.
I know you know all about it.
Yeah. All right, there is news happening here at the Star, and there's news happening around the National Football League. That's where we started yesterday, so why don't we start in Nashville again today, because they are not starting in Nashville. In fact, they've closed down the facility due to the first, do we call it an outbreak? COVID-19 outbreak in the NFL. It took 3 weeks of the season. That's a good thing. But and now the word comes down this morning that the Titans game against the Steelers is postponed. They are hoping for the start of next week, right, Mickey?
Yes, they talked about postponing to maybe Monday or Tuesday, so we could have a Tuesday night game. They're kind of just waiting to see how the week goes because they want to make sure both teams have enough, or especially Tennessee, enough time to practice preparing for the game since they shut down the facility. So they had 3 originally players test positive. Another one did yesterday. So it's 4 and 5 personnel people that are in Tier 1 and Tier 2. So that's 9 altogether right now. And I guess they want to see if they've got control of this and it's stopped and nobody else is going to continue to test positive before they open up the facility and get back to work. So, yeah, it's the first one that's happened. And, everybody was like, well, the NFL don't have any idea what they're doing. Well, you got to figure this out. This isn't like baseball where you play 2 or, you push it off and you just play the next day. So
there's no such thing as in baseball. They played 7-inning doubleheaders. There's no such thing as playing a 3-quarter doubleheader.
Can't do that in football, right?
In football, and that's probably. Hopefully they'll be able to get that game in on Monday or Tuesday,
right? And
it won't disrupt the schedule because we were looking ahead and when they might be able, if they had to postpone it until later in the season. And it is workable. I think the Steelers would have had to reschedule a game with the Ravens to make their bye week coincide with the Titans bye week. The good news on this right now is, though the Titans did play at Minnesota on Sunday, there have been no positive tests out of the Vikings Vikings camp. And so the Vikings are ready to get back to work and get prepared for their game against the Texans on Sunday.
Yeah, and the other thing that came out, the NFL and the NFLPA sent out a strongly worded memo to the coaches, general managers, and team executives that includes a passage that says it will address a lack of compliance with accountability measures that may include suspensions and or forfeiture of draft picks, meaning if people on the sideline aren't wearing their masks, there's going to be more than a financial fine for those players and those teams. So they're really emphasizing for people on the sideline to keep those masks on on game day.
All right, and so
in regards to the initial problem that we're having here, it kind of reminds me of baseball when they first started out. I think it was the Florida Marlins had so many guys tested positive, and it looked like they were going to have to shut everything down, but they continued. And initially, I think I would have pushed the panic button if the Major League Baseball Association hadn't already shown us kind of a blueprint on how you can work your way through this thing, knowing it's not going to be pretty, knowing that we're going to have a Monday or Tuesday night game. Heck, we might have a Wednesday night game before it's all said and done. I mean, because right now there are no limitations. There's no template to follow. But I do like the fact that the Major League Baseball had these same issues initially, and they were able to come out of it. So I think we'll be able to do the same in the NFL, hopefully. I'm looking forward to. I don't want to stop the season. It's already on its way.
You know, Everson, this is almost like a reminder because things have been going so well for those first 2.5, 3 weeks that players tend to relax and say, okay, there's no threat here. Well, this came to reminder, and Mike McCarthy even talked about it today in his press conference. He said that, during their team meeting, he said they were reinforcing all the things they've been doing and re-emphasizing to everyone that we got to continue on the path we were on, being very diligent about following all the protocols and not let this thing catch us by surprise. And, I just think it was inevitable with guys going home. That at some point, I don't know where you contacted it if you went out and didn't do what you were supposed to do going out, which is another thing they're going to keep an eye on because I can't remember who was it. There was a story about one team found out a bunch of players did some sort of charity thing and they were at it without masks on, and so they were going to investigate that. But you just can't let your guard down just because it seems like everything's reopening.
Well, and the big thing about that is that it's not just you. If you have a wife,
right,
you have kids, whatever, or girlfriend or whatever,
kids going to school,
and you're around other people, and then you can't help but be around your family. The other thing that football has, which is more challenging, obviously with basketball and hockey, they're in a bubble situation. In baseball, they were traveling, but they're playing every day, and there's just not much downtime to go out to a restaurant or even to be around your family. Or you're in a routine where you're primarily playing night games. You're going home, you're going to bed, and you're going to the ballpark the next day. You're traveling with the team, and you're isolated in a hotel, and they're taking all the protocols. The problem football has is that during the week, you are practicing starting on a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, but you're going home after practice. You're off a couple of days or a day and a half during the week, and there's more opportunities for you to be around other people that aren't being tested.
I saw in today's paper, I thought it was kind of alarming after the Stars had been in that bubble for, 9 weeks. They flew home. And a bunch of fans met them at the airport as they were going through the airport, and I saw that Hudobin was taking a picture with a couple fans. None of them had their mask on, and I'm going, okay, you just quarantined yourself for 9 weeks, and now you're out in public with two people you don't know, and you're not wearing a mask? It's like, boy, you got to rethink that.
He didn't leave his
Well, see,
guard
that's
down.
what
He
they
left his
thought they
mask
were
down.
thinking
Yeah.
because they're so happy to be out of the bubble.
It's like
and
we're normal
They're
again.
so happy
Yeah.
that it's over. It's almost like a relief.
Yeah.
And the other thing that you have is really you have one protocol for the sports teams, but then when you go out in public, then your state or your city might have a totally different set of protocols that you have to adhere to. So there's difference between what the Cowboys are doing versus what the city of Dallas or the Dallas County or Collin County or the state of Texas is different. How we approach it as private citizens versus the protocol that they have to deal with throughout the NFL or all the major sports. So that having to jump in and out of that, between one protocol to another protocol, they just have to be mindful that we have different protocols on the team sports for a reason, because you are in a unique situation. When it comes to the state protocol or city protocols, they're all over the place. So you got to ignore those and realize the task at hand is to be all in on the NFL protocol.
And Mickey mentioned this yesterday. The NFL has, there's a reason that there are expanded rosters this year. Reason there's an expanded practice squad this year. It is because they anticipated that there would be situations arise like this, which is why the Tennessee Titans, even with 4 positive cases, can go ahead and play a football game on Monday or Tuesday whenever they reschedule this for.
Yeah, and the other thing that took place, I guess, the beginning of this week is Roger Goodell sent out a memo to all the teams, also emphasizing their protocols of, how they bring in players for workouts. And I think he strongly suggested that you might want to back off on that stuff. And one of the reasons why Earl Thomas didn't get a workout in Houston, and it wasn't just him, they were evidently going to work out a bunch of players Monday, Tuesday, and they kind of suggested to him that you might be real careful about that. You might put them in a hotel room and make sure you're testing them before you bring them into the facility for a workout. So I thought it
was something he had done.
No, all the conspiracy theories that Jerry was flying in and put a halt to the workout because he's going to sign Earl Thomas, I think probably got thrown down into the trash container.
I just assumed that he did something controversial, and
you know what
we're going to call this off.
Yeah, with his background, it was probably a good assumption too.
Well,
by the way.
and so Bill O'Brien.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was. I thought it was a whole Kaepernick thing that the rules got all mixed up, and hey, I don't want it this way, I don't want it that way. I just assumed that it was his camp that had something to do with that cancellation. I'm glad to hear that it was simply because of protocols put in place.
Yeah, and the initial reports kind of came out that way. And first, Thomas's agent said that, no, we were informed by the Texans that due to COVID issues, they had to cancel the practice. And then Bill O'Brien this morning made a point to talk about how much respect he has for Earl Thomas. And they wanted to bring him in, but it was a sort of a league-wide thing that, hey, they got a notice from the league that these workouts, let's put a hiatus on them for a little bit.
Yeah, and even if you bring in a guy without a workout, he's still got to test negative 3 times in 4 days before he's allowed in the facility. So, you almost have to plan for 2 weeks in advance.
Right, and the reason that the Texans were interested in Earl Thomas is because they had an injury at the safety position on Sunday. So you're right. These personnel people, Will McClay has to sit there and anticipate, okay, here we are depth-wise, let's say at the safety position. What if we lose a guy on Sunday? Well, you have to have already brought safeties in to make sure that you have them ready to go, or you understand where they are physically, okay? And then because even when they come in, they still got to pass 3 tests before they can work out with the team.
And that's why I think when you see, the questions to Jerry and Steven and Mike McCarthy about, well, can you change this, bring somebody in to help out? And they're like, well, we got to kind of do this from within, because they know even if you bring somebody in, it's not for a week before you're going to
They're not going to be able to practice on Wednesday or Thursday.
It's not going to do you any good, so you got to address it from within.
They might be able to clear protocol by Friday, maybe.
Right.
But so they haven't practiced your 2 heavy days of the week, so they're not going to be able to contribute.
I mean, just
the next game.
Just remember when the Cowboys signed Everson Griffin. He didn't clear whatever day they did it. He didn't clear till Saturday, and then I don't think he got into practice either Sunday or Monday the first time.
That's
so
true.
yeah, it takes a while. So it's not an instant cure for whatever ails you. And speaking of whatever ails you, Tyron Smith at least practice on a limited basis.
Okay,
today.
That's a little tease. Okay, we're going to take a little break here.
Because the Cowboys
we'll
do have some injury stuff.
Update on Tyron Smith and where the Cowboys are injury-wise from Mickey Spagnola in just a moment.
Hey there, Cowboys fans. With Tide Cleaners at-home pickup and delivery, cleaning your clothes has never been more convenient. Simply sign up at your local store, set out your dirty clothes, and one of our Tide Cleaners professionals will come directly to your home for a totally contactless experience. Your clean garments will be returned promptly the next scheduled delivery day, so skip the errand and enjoy life, not laundry. Visit TideCleaners.com or your local store to sign up for Tide Cleaners at-home pickup and delivery today.
Make the most of summer with Ford, America's best-selling brand, during the Ford Summer Sales Event. With great offers on a huge selection of Ford SUVs and the largest selection of truck inventory to choose from. Get huge offers across the Ford lineup. So grab the family and head out. Ford's helping you make the most out of summer. It's easier now during the Ford Summer Sales Event. Based on 2019 calendar year total sales. Based on Autodata compact and full-size stock inventory as of June 2020.
Want to use what the pros use? How about the official men's skincare brand of the Dallas Cowboys, Jack Black? Right now you can get the Jack Black Starter, a curated collection of Cowboys locker room favorites for just $10 with free shipping. The starter includes 4 Jack Black skincare favorites plus a full-sized intense therapy lip balm. Go to getjackblack.com/Cowboys and use the code word TEAMJB. That's getjackblack.com/Cowboys. The Jack Black Starter, $10, free shipping.
I'm Jay Novacek, former tight end for the Dallas Cowboys. Back in the day, I was the guy who always got the tough yards, and that's why I run with John Deere today. In fact, I have a John Deere 3025E tractor that can handle any yard work I need to do, even the tough yards way out back. So if you have 1 acre or 1,000, John Deere has the equipment that's just right for you. Visit a John Deere dealer today and run with us. We are the official tractor provider of your Dallas Cowboys.
Back to Mick Shots.
Looking for something to change up your dinner routine? Help support local Frisco businesses by choosing one of the Star District restaurants. For information on delivery, takeout, curbside pickup, and dine-in availability, visit thestardistrict.com. All right, we continue here on Mick Shots. Bill Jones, Everson Walls, and Mickey Spagnola with your Wednesday practice report.
Yes, and as I was teasing before we went to break, Tyron Smith did work on a limited basis, but, it was more than on the side doing resistant cord work. He actually had a helmet and shoulder pads on and kind of went through the individual drills, went through when they do kind of their skeleton lineup with the offense and the defense is off doing their own deal. So at least he was out there. And the other guy that I saw was out there and running effortlessly was CeeDee Lamb. So you can put this conspiracy thing to bed that he was hurt at the end of the game, and that's why he wasn't in on whatever play everybody's been talking about. So he was out there. And after that, the other guys, I think, were still in the rehab that are on injured reserve. Those guys were still in rehab. So really, everybody's like, well, when are they going to get everybody back? Well, the guys on injured reserve, the only one that was eligible to come off was La'el Collins, and it doesn't look like he's ready. And I still think there's something else wrong other than the hip that's preventing him from rehabbing the hip injury that he had. Jerry alluded to it. And all I know is when they started training camp and he wasn't initially out there, the back problems he had flared up. The back that he had at the end of last year kind of flared up in the offseason, so they were trying to, and I don't know if that's why or if there was something else. I understand he was a little bit overweight, so COVID didn't treat him well the way it didn't treat a lot of people well that gained weight having to quarantine at home. So from an injury standpoint, and I believe during the individual drills, if I remember correctly, at least Anthony Brown and Chidobe Awuzie have moved on to doing resistant cord work, so that's a good sign for them. Chidobe still got to miss 2 more games, and Anthony Brown 1 more game before they would be eligible to come back. And Terrence Steele was out there, so whatever stomach ailment he had, looks like he was good enough to be able to practice today. So we'll see when we get the official injury report. But I did notice that from Cleveland's standpoint, they've got a bunch of injuries. A bunch of guys didn't practice. Their starting left guard Joel Butonio, I got it. Sort of. Did not practice, and they were worried about that one. Also, Denzel Ward, their starting corner, did not practice, along with Adrian Claiborne. Cowboys know enough about him now. He's a backup, and he was the backup to Olivier Vernon, and he hasn't been practicing, so they've got a little bit of a problem there. Also, Greedy Williams was limited in practice, and also Kareem Hunt did not practice. So they've got some injury concerns going into this game also.
That is a heck of a running back right there. So what? They have not made a decision on what he's going to be, if he's going to be available.
Yeah, it's just early
for the week.
It was early in the week. It was projecting that he would not practice today.
Now that's a heck of a guy there. They've got a great 1-2 punch that we have to deal with. And as bad as our as good as our run defense was, especially against the Seahawks, I hope that we continue that. When they start talking about the Players Association, it's something I just had to bring up. With all of the injuries that we're having, and they're talking about the 49ers are complaining about the different fields that they're playing on, especially in the Meadowlands. They were talking about the New York Jets, New York Giants field. I just thought that was so ironic that the 49ers are complaining about a field. I'm pretty sure they're still below sea level out there in San Francisco. I don't know about Santa Clara, but I do know that they have no room to talk about how bad a field can be. We had to wear spikes this long when we went out there for the second time. I don't know if you guys know the story. First game in 1981 played against the 49ers. We got blown out. And it wasn't just the field, but they had a heck of a squad, obviously. Ended up winning the Super Bowl that year. But the field itself was just, it was weighing on us mentally because we kept falling down. We couldn't get any traction. When we went out there for the championship game, we were ready this time. We had spikes this long, but now your legs are completely exhausted, and your calf muscles and everything, just from trying to pick up those spikes on the top of your shoes. And I just thought it was a travesty, not just for our game, but as the Cowboys finally went in to kick the 49ers' butt after all those years, they did it on one of the worst fields that you can ever play on. So I just thought that was very ironic that you have the nerve, you have the gall to talk about somebody's field when we've been complaining about you guys ever since the dinosaurs were alive.
Yeah, but Everson, you got to remember these guys don't know what took place 40 years ago or 30 years ago. So they probably
not 40.
Well, 1980,
40? Oh
1981. That's basically 40 years.
Oh my God, I am freaking old, dude. I just got older. I just felt older. Oh my God!
And that NFC title game.
I had to bring up one more thing that cracked me up. And I know this is off topic. The Philadelphia Eagles, they're known for booing the everything, Santa Claus, Christmas. It doesn't matter, And I thought it was so funny with no fan participation. They actually put it on the telestrator. Boo. They actually typed out boo at the stadium in Philly. I thought that was just so classic that if any team fans needed to boo, those fans would be in Philadelphia, and they're not there. So the telestrator put boo on the stadium when Carson Wentz, I think, threw an interception. So I thought that was very fitting, extremely fitting. COVID will not take away the boos. The fans may not be there, but the boos remain in Philadelphia. I thought that was pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. And by the way, on Candlestick Park, it is now way below sea level because it's been demolished.
It's part of the bay now.
That's right. All right, Mickey, anything out of Mike McCarthy's press conference this morning that struck you?
Well, the one thing I mentioned really wasn't. Well, his emphasis, I think, on the turnovers that are bothering the Cowboys. They have, not counting the two fake punts that didn't work, they have 6. So they're tied for 30th in the league right now for the most giveaways. There's 2 teams tied at 7th.
I'm going to count the fake punts too.
Okay, well then they have the most because and tied with 7. Guess what? The Washington football team and your New York Football Giants. So the 3.
They're not mine.
Wow.
3 of the 4 NFC East teams are at the bottom when it comes to takeaways and turnovers. And the thing about their giveaways, all 6 of them. With the exception of the end of game 1, the interception at the end of the game, the other 5 have all led to scores, totaling, I believe, 31 points I counted up. So,
31 points, that's a lot of points.
4 touchdowns and a field goal, 31 points. And that doesn't account for the fumble at the 1-yard line that led to the safety. So that's 33 points. I look at it wasn't a turnover, but it might as well have been recovering at the 1-yard line. So 33 points of the Cowboys.
It wasn't a safety either. Yeah.
And so, although I still don't think he got out even after he laid on the ground, even though no one touched him, but the whistle blew. So. But anyway, his emphasis was we got to take care of the football, and
all right. Let me ask you this: is a failed 4th down conversion that's not a fake punt?
You turn the ball over on downs, right?
Is that you consider that to be a turnover?
That's 3. The 2 fake punts and the 4th and 3 that didn't
now
work.
I think it depends on the field position on it. Okay, because for instance, on the 4th and 3 in L.A.
Yeah.
At the 11-yard line, you don't make that, and you're giving the ball up at the 9.
Get you.
And so that would be But if you're going for it on 4th down at your own 40, where you're losing the field position if you don't make it, then I think that counts as a turnover.
Right.
Okay.
So the 2 fake punts count.
Yes.
Okay.
In my opinion, because otherwise you could have punted them and flipped the field, and that's sort of the point on this whole Seattle game and why the Cowboys had so many yards of total offense. Look where they were starting their drives. I mean, the Cowboys' starting field position for the entire game was the average starting field position was their own 18-yard line. The Seahawks' average starting field position was their own 34-yard line.
Right.
And so that's a significant difference right there.
I think that even goes back to last year, if you think about it.
Especially the first part of the year last year when they weren't getting takeaways and the starting field position was horrible.
Wait. When did they start with takeaways?
They finally got one like the 6th game of the season. Is with
last
the first
year?
Yeah, last year.
It took a while.
Yeah, it was Halloween before they got a takeaway, I think.
But I think last year also we still had I think our scoring drives had to accumulate to be, on average, the most, at least the worst starting position in the league. I'm pretty sure that belonged to us last year as well.
You know, the other thing he said that stood out to me, he was talking about the communication on defense in particular, and specifically probably in the secondary. And he said communication is always the root of defensive success or defensive failure. And so I think he understands that the defensive communication has to be better. They can't bust assignments, as we were talking about over these past 2 days, leaving guys so wide open. And it's got and they had a bust. It was the Falcons game, right? The tight end Hurst.
Right.
There wasn't anybody within 20 yards of him, so you had another busted
true.
coverage.
And by the way, Everson, the average starting field position for the Cowboys last year, their own 26-yard line, that ranked 29th in the league. And, you get a pretty good head start on leading the league in total offense when you got more real estate to cover with your starting field position.
Exactly.
All right, we continue with...
And we are blessed.
Go ahead, Everson.
Go ahead. We'll talk about it.
Let's tease whatever you're going to say next, okay? What is Everson going to say next? I was just going to continue
and say that's why we have...
Hold on, don't say it yet. It's a tease.
It's
a tease, Everson. What Everson is going to say coming up next on Mick Shots.
Don't go anywhere.
Hey there, Cowboys fans. With Tide Cleaners at-home pickup and delivery, cleaning your clothes has never been more convenient. Simply sign up at your local store, set out your dirty clothes, and one of our Tide Cleaners professionals will come directly to your home for a totally contactless experience. Your clean garments will be returned promptly the next scheduled delivery day, so skip the errand and enjoy life, not laundry. Visit TideCleaners.com or your local store to sign up for Tide Cleaners at-home pickup and delivery today.
Since 1865, Stetson hats are American-made with pride right here in Texas. And Stetson is proud to be on the field with America's team. Want to show your Texas and team pride too? You can. By purchasing your own Stetson, you can look just like how the flag guys do on field at every home game. Stetson hats, the official crown of all self-respecting Cowboys and your favorite football team.
Get yours today at shop.dallascowboys.com or at stetson.com.
What do you call a group of grown men and women who get together every week, proudly wearing the star, to share a 3-hour-long ritual of cheering, shouting at the TV, and raising their Miller Lite together while yelling, "How about them boys?" You call it Miller Time and Cowboys Nation. Here's to the only beer of the Cowboys celebrating 60 years of greatness. Here's to the original light beer. It's Miller Time. Celebrate responsibly. 2020 Miller Brewing Company, Fort Worth, Texas.
Hey, Cowboys fans, ready to spice up your next watch party? Bring Yo Quiero guacamole and be the game day hero. Yo Quiero means I want, and we know you want great, fresh-tasting, ready-to-serve guacamole for your home gating and tailgating events. Made with real avocados and the perfect blend of spices, it will be the star of any party. You can find us at your local Albertsons or Tom Thumb in the deli section. If you can't find it, talk to your store manager and tell them, Yo Quiero guacamole. Back to Mick Shots.
Get the ultimate fan experience for the ultimate Cowboys fan. Join Dallas Cowboys United, presented by Globe Life, starting at just $20. Visit DallasCowboys.com/United.
All right, very good. And when we last spoke with you on Mick Shots, Everson Walls was about to say something profound. And he's now going to say whatever it was he was about to say.
I'm sorry. It's going to be pretty anticlimactic. I just wanted to add on to what you guys were talking about. When you start that deep in your territory, most of the time, that leads to lots of turnovers and lots of unfinished drives. One thing that we did, we were blessed to finish those drives. That's why Dak is looking for a new contract. That's why our offense has so many yards built up. We're blessed to have talent that can at least get us out of that hole. The problem is you don't want to make a habit of that, because I don't care how good you are, eventually defenses are going to catch up with you. Maybe not the Cowboys defense, but all the ones that we're playing against. So what does Mike Nolan, what is his role in this as a defensive coordinator? Are we going to continue to play off of the offense? Are we going to continue to let them be the catalyst of the team? Or are we going to try and participate in some way to give them an opportunity to win? Are we going to try and get them better field position by being more aggressive defensively? Because that's what Mike Nolan has to look at. Does he just throw all caution to the wind? Because right now we're playing defense very cautiously. And does he become more aggressive? Does he do more run blitzes? Does he, just turn into a entirely different defensive coordinator? Or do we continue to go down this road of ineptness coming from our defense, and especially our secondary? We talked about it yesterday. We have the worst pass defense in the NFL, and along with close to the best passing offense in the NFL. It pretty much leads to what we've been accustomed to: 8-8 seasons, 500 seasons, not making the playoffs. I'm hoping we make changes quickly enough here to where we don't have to worry about making changes during when it's desperate times. I want to make those changes right now and see what kind of guys we have that can adhere to those changes, players and coaches.
Guess who has the worst pass defense in the league? Meaning giving up the most passing yards.
I was wrong.
Seattle.
Okay.
Cowboys are 28.
I'm sure this weekend has something to do with that.
And they're 3-0.
3-0.
They are 3-0.
3-0.
All right. The Cleveland Browns come here for a noon kickoff on Sunday, and we're going to talk a lot about the Browns here in the next couple of days. We got 5 minutes left here, and to kick off our Browns scouting report, let's just do it this way. What is it that concerns you the most?
You didn't give me a scouting report last week, Bill.
What is it that concerns? We're going to kind of tease ahead to Thursday and Friday here. What is it that concerns you the most about playing the Cleveland Browns this week? It is a Cleveland Browns team that is looking for its third straight win and is averaging 34.5 points a game the last 2 weeks, albeit against Cincinnati and the Washington football team. Everson, what is it that concerns you the most about playing Cleveland this week?
The running game. Two great running backs. They're very confident right now. They lost their first game, but in those last two games, we came to see what is really going to be their strength. Even Odell Beckham has finally come to the conclusion that we are not going to be that pass-happy team, throwing the ball all over the place. They're going to be a controlled ball club, much like we are, but probably won't throw the ball as much because their defense gives them a better chance to win. So that running game being the catalyst of their attack, that's what's going to bother me.
And I'm right there with Everson because as coaches will tell you, if you can't stop the run, you don't earn the right to rush the quarterback. And this team is number 3 in the National Football League in rushing yards. They're averaging 5.2 a carry and 190 per game. And we know that the Cowboys have had trouble previously stopping the run because they get so focused on putting pressure on the quarterback, they forget about the importance of stopping the run. So to me, that's the deal. And, I don't know. I haven't looked enough at what they do offensively, but in their weekly release, when they sent out the depth chart, they do list a fullback as part of their 11-man offense. And if that's the case, the Cowboys really haven't played all that much with 3 linebackers on the field. They've been in nickel with these 3 teams. I don't know that you want to line up in nickel against this bunch if they got a fullback out there and you're relying on a safety or corner in the slot to help support the run against these 2 guys, Chubb and Hunt.
And the fullback, Andy Janovich, he was in the game for 17 offensive snaps against Washington and 22 offensive snaps the previous week against Cincinnati.
So they'll go heavy, and if the fullback in there, I bet the tight ends are in there too. So they want to run the ball. And Everson mentioned it. Odell Beckham Jr. seems to be okay with not all about me. It's all about the team. And maybe they're taking a little pressure off of Baker Mayfield. He's only thrown the ball 85 times in 2 games, so that's less than 30 a game, while Dak is, probably averaging, I'm going to do it off the top of my head, probably about 50 a game, it seems like. With how much the Cowboys have thrown the ball. So they'll run it at you, and that creates more big plays for them. Dak's thrown the ball 143 times in 3 games.
That's nearly 50 a game. And Mayfield the last
One thing you have to realize,
Mayfield the last 2 weeks has been exactly 16 out of 23 both games.
Well.
Yeah. So stopping the run definitely is something that the Cowboys have to make a priority of. And it'll be interesting to see how they do it, because they're short on linebackers. It's been Jalen Smith and Joe Thomas. And at times, if they've wanted a third linebacker, it's kind of been Aldon Smith standing up on the outside with a 4-man run. Now, maybe you go and use more of your 3-4 defense and act like 2 of your defensive ends are linebackers along with the 2 guys in the middle. I don't know. I don't know how they're going to do it, but
and they'll probably bring down the safety as well.
Yeah.
They'll probably bring the safety down as well.
And let him play in the box
and
too.
have him fill a hole. And they're very good at that. They're very good at that. Defense bodes them well. Woods gets in there pretty good. We got a couple of good hard-hitting safeties. But then here comes the play-action pass, Spags.
Yeah.
And when you have that play action, just like with the Dallas Cowboys, it's going to be some big holes in there if you're not careful. And when Landry and Beckham catch the ball, regardless of whether you throw to them 10 times or just 1 time, each time that they catch it, they're trying to take it to the house. And if you have those holes open up in there because of that play action pass, then it's going to be another track meet that we're looking at. And it's just going to look a little bit different from Seattle. But the guys going to the end zone, it still looks the same.
All right.
Baker said he's okay getting in a shootout with Dak Prescott.
He said that?
Yes, he did. I saw the
No,
quote.
he's not. No, he's not. No, he is not. No, he is not.
Have you ever heard of Baker Mayfield not being confident coming in, or cocky, or worse than that, coming into any football game that he's played?
I think you got a very good point there.
Yeah.
Well, I got to hand it to him after that first loss. It could have been easy to fold. It really could have been. And I have to hand it to that entire team on how they kind of pulled themselves together. And they're above 500 for the first time, I think, since Mayfield's been there. Am I right?
I think since Johnny Manziel was the quarterback in 2014.
Wow.
And how'd that turn out? All right. That does it for this edition of Mick Shots, and we will be back with much more live in the inside the SWBC Mortgage Studios here at the Star in Frisco tomorrow at 1:30.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.